Man, TNT All-American Pulling Series from Charlotte Coliseum in North Carolina, where we move next to our 7,200-pound modified tractor division. And for this Army, the track has been lengthened a little bit.
Richard, they added 5 feet to it, so we're going off a 185 track for the heavy hitters in the sport, the multi-engine modified tractors. And look who's the first one to come out, Mr. Dave Banner himself.
He is driving the Mr. Chevy tractor. David is a winner of 15 Grand National Championships.
Leaves the Chevrolet horsepower. Left side of the engines are starting to go away a little bit. He comes across the track. It's definitely going to hurt him. Dave Banner, they call him Mr. Chevy at a 168.02, Richard.
And remember, a full pull distance will be 185 feet. And the crowd getting ready next to see one of the best drivers on the entire circuit. He's been doing it for 6 years now. Big John Carlton. He calls his tractor the Virginia Farmer. It is powered by Chevrolet. He is out of Little Plymouth, Virginia.
I want you to keep an eye on this class as to where the engines are located on the tractor. Now, Carlton, you notice the right hand on the throttle as he goes forward down on the horsepower end. He runs all his engines straight in line with each other. The track is really giving them problems. They're zigzagging on the track, but they're all starting on the left, but they're not ending up there, Richard.
And look at the distance for John Carlton, 182.46. So he will take over the lead early in this competition, John Carlton. Our next puller out will be Paul Norman, the All-Pro War Wagon. He is from right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's the guy that always wears the black hat. And Army spent time earlier with him talking about his hat and his hometown hero status.
People have come to identify myself with a hat. I can go in somewhere without it. Nobody knows who I am. We can go in a truck stop or most anywhere now, and I can be with people that have been in the sport for years longer than I have and are more well-known in tractor pulling circles than I am, but people immediately pick up on the hat. It's more or less my identity.
So the black hat's your trademark. Doesn't mean you're a bad guy, but does mean they're going to have to keep an eye out for you.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be hammering on the back door.
Well, let's see what this former drag racer and 10-time points champion in North Carolina can do. Paul Norman and the All-Pro War Wagon.
Comes out and does a little stutter step on the start line. He moved the throttle and backed and moved it again, and it really worked for him. Look at this, Richard. He's bombing it out the other end.
An awesome display of power. Paul Norman has got our first full pull of the night. And look at these fans in Charlotte, North Carolina. They are cheering on this hometown hero with his lead pulling distance.
Paul, the word is an official full pull. Congratulations on a beautiful run.
Oh, thank you, Army. The All-Pro Auto Parts floor wagon hooked up, done real good. We did a little back pedal in the hole. I think it helped it come out a little bit. The back motor went sour on us. We got to get back here and see if we can find out the problem before we run the pull off.
So Paul Norman is now your leader with a full pull, and get ready for a real story coming out next. It is going to be Ken Lamont for the first time in his career driving a modified tractor which belongs to Fred Freeman.
Well, Freeman normally drives a tractor. He's not able to be here tonight because his son is being baptized in their church. I want to wish him all the luck, but look who steps up on this tractor, and this kid's got a big grin on his face, Richard.
So Ken Lamont for his first time ever. You spent time with him earlier.
The plain old toolbox vehicle you normally drive is two-wheel drive. This is two-wheel drive. You run one engine. This has 3 engines. You got to be a little bit nervous.
Well, I don't know if it's nervous so much as it is kind of something different to look forward to. The two-wheeler, I've said for the last year I need to get the butterflies back because we do it so much. It's just kind of like getting in a car. You know, you don't even think about it. You just get in it and do your normal program. And this is going to be different. If the front end comes up, I'm going to be pivoting different. Because on a two-wheeler, I'm sitting out on the front, and when it comes up, I go up with it. But on a tractor, you're back at the pivot point. So that's going to be a different thing. Plus, an added 2 motors. It's going to be a different feeling.
So let's see if Ken Lamont is as nervous as a moose in a phone booth. For the first time ever, he's out on a modified tractor, and he's rolling.
I tell you what, Richard, he looks like a kid with a new toy. He's laying down a super shot. Richard, he's going out of here. Look at this. First time on a tractor and a full pull.
A full pull. The first time on a modified tractor, Ken Lamont makes a full pull. Holy buckets, what more can you say?
Ken Lamont, your first ride on a tractor. It looks like you're having more fun than a blue ticket ride at Disney World.
I tell you what, Fred's been telling me for years that he was going to give me a good ride. That's great. I tell you what, my wife has been scared to death As soon as I got on one of these horsepower machines instead of one motor and a two-wheeler, I'd be wanting one. I think he's right. That's a lot of fun.
Okay, now the fun part we understand. Paul Norman made a full pull. You made a full pull. You're still in this thing. Could take a win. Do you think there's any way possible? Beginner's luck? Could that be you tonight?
Well, I hope so. As sour as I look with a two-wheeler, I'm due a little bit of luck.
I'll tell you what a story developing in Charlotte, North Carolina. 2 full pulls and more great action coming up straight ahead with more Power Tracks on ESPN.
Power Tracks and the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series is brought to you by TNT Motorsports, the nation's leader in pulling and monster truck racing.
Welcome back to Power Tracks, where Army Armstrong, I am still nearly breathless as we have had 2 back-to-back full pulls and maybe more to come. As out next is John Powell in the Cracklin' Rose. John out of Apex, North Carolina, so kind of another hometown hero here. He has been pulling for 12 years, and he's running 557 cubic inch engines.
Right now, the scenario is this, horsepower. Paul Norman runs the Arius engine. He made a full pull. Lamont goes out here with the Chevrolet, and we're looking at a Chrysler trying to go out. The front end comes up on him a little bit.
Give it to him.
Whoa.
Give it to him. We have got 3 full pulls in a row. This one by John Powell. Now tell me, is it the track that is doing this, or is it the horsepower?
The track is coming in is what it is. Now, just as quick as the track can come to you, it can go away from you. And John Heilman, who's scheduled out next, he knows it. He also relies on the Chevrolet for horsepower, so let's see if the track will hold it.
John Heilman out of Rockford, Ohio, 47 years old. He's been a puller for 14 years. He is going to try to make it 4 for 4 with full pulls.
Heilman very intensely sets on the Engler chassis vehicle, uses Chevrolet for horsepower. Not going to get the ground speed he needs. The sled is really getting it tough about the last 20 feet, Richard.
179.48, so he breaks our string of full pulls, but not a bad distance for John Heilman. And now it's our final tractor. This one belongs to Dave Walsh. The Irish Challenger is what he calls it. He is out of Mouston, Wisconsin. He also runs the Arius engine. There you see Paul Norman getting tuned up for the pull-off.
Well, he said the back engine wasn't working for him on his run, so what they're doing, they're rejetting the engine right now. Look at the intensity of the Irish Challenger. Right hand on the throttle. Watch it when he moves. He's coming after you a little bit lighter than nose. 3-engine combination not going to work for the gentleman from the north.
He gets pulled down by the sled at 183.88. So we are going to have a 3-tractor pull-off here in Charlotte, North Carolina, coming up in just a moment. But right now, let's move on to our Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series question of the week. And this question of the week about the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series comes to us from Mark Rogers of Shelbyville, Kentucky. And Mark wants to know why the distribution of movable weight is so critical on the 2-wheel drive pulling vehicles. I have with me Mike Stowe. Mike, the driver of the Bad Dog. He's the defending Redman TNT national champion. And Mike, tell us about this weight distribution on the 2-wheel drive pulling machines.
Well, we use our weight to balance our trucks. We move actually 100 pounds at a time. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, from front to rear to obtain our correct balance. We want to get a total transfer of our weight to our rear wheels to get maximum traction and not to lose drawbar. When the front end comes in the air, you lose drawbar height, which reduces your power to pull because you lose your leverage on the front of the sled. You want to keep the front end just barely tipping the ground, maybe a little off, you know, to get your maximum transfer of weight, yet keep control of the vehicle.
Now, how do you determine where to put this weight?
Well, you have to judge the track. You have to become a pretty good judge of soil. You have to judge the moisture in the track, and therefore you just make a guess, kind of a blind guess, especially the first night that you run on a certain track, to tell how much weight you're going to need on the front.
If you have a question of the week about the Redman TNT All-American Pulling Series, send it to us at TNT Motorsports, 5515 Poplar Park Boulevard, Louisville, Kentucky, 40228. And if we use your question on a future television broadcast, we'll send you free a TNT Motorsports hat. You know, we might want to mention Mike Stowe there was our winner earlier in our modified 2-wheel drive competition. But right now, Army, they're adding weight. That means only one thing. It's time for a pull-off.
3-way pull-off. Charlotte, North Carolina. It's going to be the War Wagon going against the Lamont vehicle. Oh, look what's happening here now. The first time tonight, somebody is going to start on the right side of the track. Everybody in both of the classes we've been watching have always started on the left side. Not to be the case right now. Norman is moving out into no man's land. It's nothing more than a crapshoot. It's either going to work or go away on him.
This crowd in Charlotte pulling for him. He's a hometown driver.
Look at this run. Beautiful straight as an arrow, Richard. This guy's going to be tough to beat.
167.84. Now that will be the distance that our next two pullers are going to have to beat if they're going to win this competition here in Charlotte. Coming out next, Ken Lamont aboard Fred Freeman's Mean Mistreater.
You know, we were talking earlier about the fans that follow Norman. You notice all the gold hats? That's the all-pro fans that are following the War Wagon. They're setting number one, but believe me, Lamont's going to go after them. Rolls in the throttle real quick. You can see the right hand is already down. Front end starts to sky on it. Chevrolet making the horsepower. Not going to be there. 167 was the lead distance. Lamont only 147, 20 feet down, Richard.
Now, that says something about Paul's ability to move into no man's land on the track and get such a great distance.
Yeah, he was the first one to go out there, but believe me, the next tractor up, we're going to find out exactly where he wants to go. These drivers can spot this sled wherever they want. Norman's your leader. He sits with his crew chief on the side. Only one more vehicle can put him away.
That is the vehicle of John Powell. He calls it Cracklin' Rose. He also out of North Carolina, and here he goes.
Went to the left side of the track. You notice the front end's up, the wheels are cocked all the way to the right. It's not going to work for him. All Norman's going to win this thing, Richard, and the people are going to go crazy.
But awfully close as Powell goes 164.18. But the crowd cheering the man in the black hat. There he is, the champion of the modified tractor class tonight, Paul Norman. Here's your final top five standings. John Carlton, 5th. Dave Walsh, 4th. 3rd place goes to Ken Lamont. 2nd to John Powell. And your winner tonight, Paul Norman, the All-Pro War Wagon. For Army Armstrong, I'm Richard Leake. We'll see you again on the tracks across America.